real quick, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us how you got started in the industry, how long ago, what you're doing now, and then I know you've rolled out other businesses too, like you said, your franchise. And just kind of catch us up to speed what you've done for the last 2 years. But again, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you. I started Green Mango in 2010, and at the time, really didn't have any experience. I've never really worked for anyone else ever. And my buddy, who became my business partner, actually worked for a couple other companies. And he was like, hey, you got to get into this pest control business and really want you to be a part of it. And so we started, man. We started with one truck, didn't have a CRM, didn't have an office manager. Our office was literally in the upstairs bedroom of my mom's house. And we just started spraying. I'll never forget that first customer that we landed, going over there all excited to take care of them. And from day one, we just knew that we were going to do a different service. We wanted to guarantee scorpion control, which at the time, there's a few companies that, make that claim now. But at the time, no one would want to claim that because it was such a huge deal. But we knew that if we were very strategic in how we service the homes, putting down enough product, using a truck-mounted power sprayer as opposed to a hand canister or backpack, really doing what we call tri-block technology now, 3 massive barriers of protection, people would see it and they'd love it. And honestly, no matter how much money we spend on marketing, whether that be radio, billboard, Google ads, our customer referral is our number one source for new customers. And that just speaks volumes to who we are as a company. We've never, even though, there were some years there where it was like, hey, if we cut down on chemical costs and cut down on the number of houses, if we increase the number of houses that technicians service, we could literally become a profitable company right now. And we chose not to make those decisions and just keep, doubling down on our customers, doubling down on the service. And because of that, we're now one of the largest pest control companies in Arizona. And it's been a fun ride. In 2016, we had this huge demand because we've developed this awesome customer base of knowing what a premium service looks like. They kept asking us, hey, do you guys do pool service? Do you guys do carpet cleaning? Do you guys do, and they started naming off all, you guys do lawn care, all this stuff. And, we started 5 other service companies in about a 1.5-year span. And it's probably one of the craziest times of my life. But since then, we've sold off a few of them. And now I'm focusing on, the core 3. So I have Green Mango as our biggest, coconut carpet cleaning and tile, and Agave Auto Glass, which is windshield replacements, is my top 3. And then, my goal is to sell Green Mango in the next 5 years, get it up to $50 million in revenue. We do $24 million right now and have a huge exit. So that's what I'm working for. And that's what I'm excited about. It's been fun to gear my managers and rally them around this goal because it gives them purpose and something to look forward to. And giving them a carrot, at the end as well is going to make it. It has been making a huge difference, and I know it will be over the next 5 years.
For sure. How many markets are you in now? Did you guys open up another one recently or try to, or is that what I heard?
So in the past, we've opened up Utah, California, and North Carolina. We've sold them all. I just closed on North Carolina about 2 to 3 months ago. Okay. I'm just focusing on Arizona.
Is that because you have a bigger customer base, or are you guys didn't travel as far away from your office, or what was the reasoning for trying to go to other markets first and pulling it back?
To be honest, I'm just not great at managing people out of state.
Yeah.
I can't create that buy-in that I can here. And so I just, with all the money that I put into all these other branches and time and effort and losing people, I always take someone out of Arizona and place them in another state because they know, who we are, and it just hasn't worked. And I'm just not great at it. So I just, I sold it off, said, hey, I'm going to double down on Arizona. There's plenty of, market space to at least double here. And I'm excited about the future and just really, really focusing on what I'm great at and capitalizing on that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a really big brand, like you said. It's a massive brand out there, and it's hard to. Not that it's hard, but it's harder to start over to create that same brand again in a new market. I can only imagine. It's tough.
Yeah, we're not geared towards a door-to-door model. And that was the plan with all the companies. We built them up to 3,000 to 5,000 accounts. So they were still a success where we sold them off. But just going into a new market and being a part of the door-to-door world, it's exhausting for us and what we do with traditional marketing.
Yeah. So you guys started Green Mango back in the day, knocking doors, right?
Yeah, we did. The first 3-4 years we were doing door-to-door with Green Mango.
Yeah. And then why did you stop completely doing door-to-door? Did you still have a team here and there, or, a guy or two, or do you switch all online?
Yeah, as soon as a couple of our traditional marketing ventures took off, we're like, this is crazy. Let's go all in.
Are you willing to share what works out there?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, like I said, customer referral is our number one new way of gaining new customers. But other than that, radio, Google, we've done a lot of TikTok, and then we're heavy on influencers because our brand is so powerful. People want to be seen with the flat black truck, with the cool technician showing up in all Nike gear. And, people want to post about that.
Yeah. So I actually have like 7 things written down, and you brought up a couple of them. Let's talk about the customer referrals. And that's one thing I was talking to Trish about. Like, I couldn't, when I was out in Arizona before that and I was following your content, I couldn't believe of how many of your customer base kept reposting and resharing videos of your technicians, of your truck showing up. Like, walk us through that. Like, is super sick what you've done there.
You've tapped into something that I think a lot of people strive to tap into, and they give it every effort that they can, but nobody's quite done it the way that you have and succeeded in the way that you have either.
Especially as a door-to-door company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. There's a couple reasons for it. Number one, I feel like a lot of companies are really cheap on what they give. So for our referral program, we give a lot. The person that's referring, they get a free service. So if our average, bi-monthly rate is $90, like there goes $90 out of our pocket. And then the person that's signing up, they get a free initial. So if our initials are $200, we're saying, hey, come on for free. So we just, $290 acquisition cost right out the gate. So that's huge. And then the other thing, like there's a reason, if someone goes and gets a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, they're going to post a picture about it. Like it's a cool car. It's known for being cool. So that's what we've tried to make Pest Control. We make sure that we put, 22-inch rims. We paint all of our trucks flat black. They all have, uniform decals on them. And the technicians, like I said, we come in Nike gear. We come and making sure when the technician comes to the door, like he has a spray hat and he has what we call a door hat. There's a difference. Those little details of the technician walking up, not only is he feeling better, but the customer is getting that sense of like, this guy's a professional. He doesn't have this sweaty, especially in Arizona, when it's 115 degrees, your hat gets that sweat mark very easily. We train our guys, go to the truck, put your nasty truck and put your nasty hat in the truck and come on in with your door hat that's clean and fresh. And, that's just one little example of paying attention to details that matter for us.
I love that. So did you find people that lived in your specific neighborhoods? I'm assuming that were obviously your customer that you reached out to and said, hey, if you refer customers, we'll give you X, Y, Z, or do your service for the whole year free, something like that to really get them to, post on Instagram, Facebook for you?
So we have our influencers that obviously we give them free year-round service to post about us. But like I said, a lot of people that want to be active on social, like they want to be seen with Green Mango at their house. And that's the biggest, besides the influencers posting about that, like people are just tagging and posting us anyways, because it's, it's cool.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we were striving for too. Like, we try to be different. All of our trucks are at pink. We have like our logo, like our badge, or like we want to stand out. We want to be the hip, young, cool kids in town. Like everyone wants to see our trucks, or we want to be the highest end of the market where they're going to pay the most because we're going to give them the most value. And that's exactly what we're striving for. But like, again, being partially a door-to-door company, but then still making your customer base connect with you the way you did is pretty impressive. Then I had written down Nike because, again, watch all your social media, like your pictures with your Nike shoes, with your hand cans. Super looks dope, right? Do you have like a deal with Nike, or is that just that? Do you like Nike a lot, or what happened there?
Yeah, we just rolled with it from the beginning, and with business, how this is. Like consistency is key, and so we've just stayed with it. I wish we had a deal with them. We've tried to make a couple deals, but we're too small for them. But we'll continue to buy their stuff and put our logos on it. And, we love it.
Yeah. And when you first started Green Mango, how did you come up with the name? Was that just like a one-off thing? Like, did you have a plan for the coconut? Like, did you have a plan for all this to come together at the end, or was it just a name you came up with?
So my business partner actually came up with the name. He served a church mission in Brazil.
Cool.
And for a long time on his mission, he kind of lived on mangoes. Like, that was his way of life that he lived on. And so kind of the short story behind it is that when he created the name, like, this was going to be the way that we lived. This is how we were going to feed ourselves. And so he wanted mango in there. And then green at the time in 2010, like, a lot of people were moving to the all natural movement of safe products around the home. And so with, the green mango, he just put them together. And so it's his way of life of how we live. And then we wanted to make people feel comfortable that we weren't coming and, spraying these harsh chemicals that were going to hurt your kids or your pets or anything like that.
Right. So how were you able to come up with the whole tri-block thing? Like, that was a cool branding. Like I said, like, you want to give them a little more value.
So, two reasons. One, we needed a way to train our technicians and how to service the home the way in which we wanted it.
Smart.
So we wanted to come up with a name to where when we were giving the training, we could refer back to it. And then number two, and you know what it's like because you've knocked doors, especially in Arizona, there's 5 to 10 different door knocking companies.
All day long.
When everyone's coming and saying, we go 3 feet up the wall and 3 feet out, and, we spray around the vegetation, we're like, dude, we got to sound different. We got to make it so we're doing things differently. So when we come to the home and we say, look, Blue Sky, Moxie, all these guys are great companies. They're going 3 feet up, 3 feet out. We've patented this new tri-block technology. It's 3 massive barriers of protection, and it just sounds cooler.
It does sound cool, yeah.
It was a way to train our technicians and a way for us to sound better on the doors than the last 5 guys, the previous 2 weeks.
Yeah, so what was your background? Like, did you come from a door-to-door company? I know you said you didn't spray, but did you knock doors before, or how did that happen?
No, that's what's funny. Like, I played sports all through high school. I went on a mission to Canada. I came home, and that was like the loneliest time of my life because everything up until that point was planned for me. Hey, go to school. I'm a pilot. Go get your pilot's license. Go on a mission. And then he come home and was like, go to work. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was really kind of a low time. And I first started a detailing company. Didn't like that. And then my buddy said, hey, let's do some pest control. So I'd never worked. I worked for my stepdad for like a month doing sales. But that was selling used oil. Like, it was barely even a sell. And so my first experience was like being an owner of Green Mango and having that pressure of, hey, you either got to sell or we don't make payroll. So I had to quickly, learn how to, go through the sales progression. So
did you hire someone to come and train you, or did you just go there, start knocking doors and figuring it out like I did?
So luckily my business partner had, I think, 2 or 3 years of door knocking experience. And so he would train me. I'd role play for hours by myself, in my closet, and just hours and hours on the doors trying to figure it out.
At that time, was there a lot of other companies knocking doors yet? Like this was 10 years ago, right? Roughly?
Almost 14 years ago now.
So was there a lot of companies back then door knocking?
Yeah, there was probably 5 big players in the industry. And especially here, in Arizona and Utah, it's a big area for recruiting, return missionaries. So everyone was doing it. And, there's some battles between other buddies that have started pest control companies. We're recruiting, each other's friends. And it got nasty, bro. Like, for a while, their friendships were ruined.
For real. How do you handle the door-to-door companies? Like, I know what I've ran into with you, right? Obviously, you have the tri-block thing, and I've knocked on your guys' doors. It's a tough switch. It just really is. I didn't know you know, of course, but we were selling for White Knight, like I said. But like, how do you guys handle the door knocking like companies? How do you tell your customers what's going on?
Well, I think it all starts at the very beginning, right? So with our salesmen, we have very specific scripts that we make them. Ultimately, it's brainwashing the customer from the beginning.
Yeah.
So on the very first sales call, when someone comes in, we're making sure that they understand that tri-block is unique to Green Mango and Green Mango only, and it's the best thing and no one else has it. We want them to see that, understand that. And then the experience, right? Can we service them within 24 to 48 hours? Does the technician call 30 minutes ahead of time? And then when they get there, okay, what's the experience with the customer? We train our guys to go through a nice, huge welcome packet that goes through the contract, so there's no failed expectations. We have, it's a welcome packet that includes the scope of service, and then it mentions all of our other companies.
Yeah.
But we have initial techs to sit down at the kitchen counter with the customer, going through that to make sure that they know, hey, there's no one else better than Green Mango. And then our touch points for marketing that we have between services is important. And then just providing a great service. People don't want to switch, right? It takes too much time. It's annoying. Everyone promises the world. If you do a good job, they're not going to switch over. And that's what we've done with our customers is we've helped them see, and obviously we're not perfect, but that's where I get the most enjoyment is talking to guys like you that have tried to knock our doors, tried to knock, against us and switch over our customers. And they're like, dude, we just can't do it. And as a business owner, like all those things I mentioned cost a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's me like coming down on, CSRs. Did you mention Tri-Block technology? Did you mention the referral program? Initial text, you got to memorize this script. You got to say it this way. It's all about tonality and, all the things that from door to door. It's fulfilling when I hear people like you. It's like, it's all these little things that we've done that have started to pay off. And we have a really low attrition rate. This year we were at 15% attrition rate on our customer base.
Incredible.
Our customer base. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's impressive. With those touch points though, do you feel that when people do cancel, do you find that they cancel at those touch points? Because people say, it's like one of those things in the industry. Like, do we talk to the customer more? Do we talk to them less? Every time we talk to them, they more want to cancel. The less information they get, the possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think more touch points is better. I encourage the technicians. I wish we had more touch points. I encourage the technicians when they're at the home. If the customer's home, knock on that back door and get them outside and remind them, who Green Mango is. Show them how specific you are in getting product into the cracks and crevices and treating the fence line and around the vegetation and all the little things. Because sometimes, a customer will go almost a year to probably 2 years with maybe having one touch point with the technician and one interaction with a customer service rep.
Yeah.
It's not enough to keep people stoked on who you are. So those marketing trips in between are important to remind them.
Kind of talking about this a little bit, but then kind of integrating when it comes to hiring people, because earlier you were talking about how you've expanded into other markets, but it didn't really work out because it was a harder, buy-in, I guess. You weren't able to get people to buy in as easily as you were in the market you established in. Do you think it's because of the type of people that you were trying to expand within other markets? And then how does that, I'm just curious, are you looking for a specific type of person when it comes to hiring, to more easily buy into your brand? Is there a specific personality type that,
your profile type? Yeah,
that you feel is easier to be bought in?
You're talking for if I was going to open up another market again, what type of person would I look for, or specifically here in Arizona?
Well, more so just what's been the difference? Because you were saying that it's harder for you to get people bought into what it is that you're trying to do, in other markets that you've opened up. And so what's the difference in the type of people that you maybe expanded with in other markets compared to the people that are more easily bought in your own market, if that makes any sense? And is there a specific type of person that you look for when you're hiring technicians that you feel aligns more naturally with what it is that you're trying to do?
Yeah, that's the $1 billion question, right? But I think it's important. One of my biggest challenges that I've had with all my partners, because in every single company that we start, I partner with someone, a managing partner that handles the day-to-day. So every time I opened up a branch for Green Mango, I gave equity to that person. But I was the finance side of things. I was the marketing. We were the systems and processes, and their job is the boots on the ground. Yep. I'm a true believer, especially going through 5 other service companies, that there's going to become a time in business where you just can't figure it out. It's just payroll. You're barely making payroll. You're not making any money as the business owner. And you got to find that one thing that's going to change your business. And the people that have the most on the line of having to cover payroll if you can't make it are the ones that find that one thing. So for example, at our glass company, we were struggling with the insurance companies squeezing us and telling us how much we can charge, to a point where we were almost going out of business because they narrowed down those margins so much that it was impossible to run a great company on. We figured out, hey, if we pivot and move to RV windshields, then we can, we do this amount of volume, it pays this much, we can charge as much as we want. It sounds simple as I say it, but that took years to figure out. Like, that was the X factor for us at Agave. So when you go into a market, for example, Green Mango, you have to figure out, like, what are these little things to push through? What are the things that I need to be specific on? And that's where I feel like I lost the buy-in, is that when you maybe let, the truck go out, with a couple spare tires on, or vinyl ripped, or the technician not refresh his hat, or has a nasty shirt. And they're just the little things that make all the difference in the long run. And that guy's not paying attention to it. Like, those are the things that could go wrong, because as you guys know from starting a company, there's so many things that have to go right in order to be successful and make money at it.
Yeah. You brought up retention. You said your retention rate's about 15%, which is fantastic. Why do you think that is? I know it's all little touch points. It's the way you look. It's super cool. It's your marketing. Anything besides that you guys really work on? Like, when people called cancels, there are certain things that you guys say to keep the customer, like all that.
Well, it's all about how our customers are sold. So we're not on the door, and there's a difference. When we're not selling door accounts and someone's being talked into signing up with us by, a college student just promising the world, then that's different than someone seeing an ad or an influencer say, hey, these guys are the best, sign up. I think that's number one of why our attrition's so low. And then, number two, and I haven't had a great attrition rate forever. Like, we've probably hovered around 20 to 22%, but now I have just one person in that department who's a killer and understands how to save an account. And that's been a huge difference. And then another thing that we've done the past 2 years, which I love, and no one else would probably really be able to do this because they don't have a carpet cleaning business. But one of the things that we offer is we say, look, especially if someone's wanting to switch over to another company, we'll say, hey, not only will we comp this service, but I'll give you $200 of free cleaning with our carpet cleaning company to stay on board. And they absolutely love that. And if you're on the doors, you just can't compete with that.
That's incredible. I really like that. And then, so, like, let's talk about Agave for a little bit, and then your other cleaning company. Like, did you just start cross-selling? Like, when we started a new company, do you take your customer list and start cross-selling, upselling current customers? Or did you start from scratch, or what did that look like?
Yeah, so I was very, very particular in making sure that these companies could stand on their own 2 feet before we introduced them to the Green Mango family, because we don't want to ruin this reputation that we had just because, just because we're successful at Green Mango doesn't mean we're going to be successful at coconut. Yep. Right? So I made them, every company was a little bit different, but before we cross-sold or cross-marketed them, they were in business for at least 2 to 3 years, because you're going to have to figure some stuff out. Yeah, systems, operations, the people. They're just, how it is the first couple of years. You're just running through things. Yeah.
So what made you choose the carpet cleaning franchise of all the companies that you have had in the past? What was the X factor in carpet?
So we had 4 top salesmen, and they were just killing it for us.
Were they door-to-door guys, or just like a closer center model?
No, they were just great guys that we taught them how to sell. And, they said, hey, look, they said, look, you can either franchise this because we want to be with Coconut, or we're going to start our own business and be your competition. So we were literally forced into it.
Gold handcuffs.
And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's been great. But as you know, going and, through the process of opening up franchises and being a part of that is really expensive.
Very expensive. And it's a lot of work. It took us about 5 or 6 months too. Did you hire a company to come help you do it? Did you guys do it yourself?
We had a lawyer that kind of walked us through it and then outlined, hey, these are all, seemed like there was 300 questions. Hey, how do you guys want to do this? How do you guys want to do that? At the end, we're like, whatever you think is best, man. Like literally exhausting.
Yeah. So, what's your goal look like for the franchise side? Like, how many you guys want to sell? Which markets you guys want to be in?
So our goal is to sell. We're at 6 right now. We want to sell 4 more by the end of the year, and within the next 2 years, we haven't like narrowed down a solid like, hey, this is what we're going to shoot for. But we've thrown around the 25 total in the next 2 years. And I think that'd be a good goal for us, especially, not knowing much about it. What I'm most concerned about is like, you don't know what you don't know. So how can we get hurt, or where's the bear trap here?
Yeah. So we hired, and of course you did too. We hired a franchise attorney just to like walk us through the process, make sure that, like corporate headquarters is good, that they're a separate entity than us and all that legal jargon. That's a lot of work, but like, how did you sell your first 6? Like, I know you said maybe a couple of them were forced you, but the next 4, how did that happen?
So the first 4 were our guys that worked for us. So those were easy. And then the next 2 were just like people in the market that saw us and just reached out like, hey, we'd love to be a part of this somehow. What does that look like?
That's pretty cool. So with your sales guys or your team that you already had, did you waive the franchise fees for them, or did they have to pay that?
No, they have to pay it.
Nice. I like that too. So what's the future look like for? I see with Green Mango, you're going to sell next 5 years. Have an exit plan. Are you guys going to sell to private equity? Are you going to just sell your part? Like, and the other partner's going to keep his part? You guys completely done with it? What's that going to look like in the future?
So I just bought my business partner out
Congratulations.
2 months ago. Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, last year, and I never thought I'd sell Green Mango ever because it's such a great residual business. And once you get it set up, as you know, with the key managers, you can work as much or as little as you want. But we got a huge offer, 2022, and I turned it down immediately. And I didn't want to get to a point where it was never enough, because if you told me in 2010, hey, in 12 years from now, you're going to sell for X amount of money, millions of dollars, and you're going to turn it down like that, I would have been like, you're crazy. If I get there, I'll sell no matter what, So now I have a goal, and even if I get to 50 million in revenue and I feel like I have a lot more runway, I just have to be committed to sell and take that and like be okay with that for my own happiness. Yeah. And I got these 2 other companies I will continue to build, but that's my goal. It's a little bit of a stretch, and I'm just excited. It's going to push me. I want to get a little bit into M&A here in Arizona, which I haven't done, any of that. So it's going to be an exciting time over the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's super cool. You haven't started M&A at all? Have you started looking?
Yeah. So I met with a lot of different companies, but I haven't, this year was getting my, the funds to buy my partner out. And next year I hope to, acquire 1 or 2 companies here in Arizona. That's my goal. I have a meeting with someone next week. So just kind of, once again, it's kind of like franchising. It's a whole different beast. Where can I get screwed? What do I need to focus on? And having the right team around me to help me out with that.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Trisha, you get lots of questions. I should let you talk a little more.
No, it's fine. I mean, most of them have actually already been answered during.
Why is it 50 million? Is it just your personal goal, or is someone saying, "Hey, once you get here, we'll pay you this"? A little bit of both.
It's a mixture of looking at our pro formas of saying, "Hey, if we kind of maintain what we're doing plus 10 to 15% in certain areas, in 5 years we can be at 50 million." And with an additional couple of different areas like commercial, we've never been huge on commercial. Part of the $50 million plan is, I think 5 or 7% of business coming from commercial. So there's just it's very strategic and very detailed on where to focus and how to obtain that goal. And I know that, almost selling last year, working with a lot of these private equity and family offices, I know what they look for now. And, if I can get to a $50 million in revenue, we maintain about a 24 to 26% EBITDA margin on a conservative multiple, depending on where we're at. at 50 million, it should be north of a $200 million exit. And that's just like, that sounds good to me. So that's what I'm shooting for.
And when you first started this company, like you never, like I said, you never would have thought ever that you're going to get $200 million for this.
Yeah.
How has the relationship been with your partners? Has that been like since day one? Has that been a tough thing? Has it been easy? I mean, never easy. Been some struggles there, being pretty good.
I would say for the most part, it's been great.
Awesome.
Other than like you have your normal, business partner struggles, but I think that's what's made us great too. He's, where I've wanted to pull back, he's pushed me tremendously, and vice versa. And the main thing is just my partner. I can't take any credit for the brand. He's a brand genius. That's what he loves doing. That's why we started so many companies, is because he would love to create the brand and the identity of it. And I'm more of the systems and operations. And so now that we've been in business for over 12, 13, going this year, what month are we in? October, 2 months, it'll be 14 years. I could just see that his passion wasn't there as much. Gotcha. And so I just approached him and said, hey, I still love coming in every single day. I still love working. If the opportunity presents itself and I can, come up with the funds to buy you out, are you open to that? And he was. And we're still great friends, and we, support each other in what he does now. And he obviously supports me and continue to build Green Mango. But it's been awesome, man. I wouldn't be here without him, and I love him.
That's super awesome. I love that you referred to your business as like a Lamborghini. Like everyone wants to post their Lamborghini. Like you brought up branding. I was like, that's just fire, dude. Like it's so awesome. Like just like, we have a Lamborghini compared to like a Honda Civic. Like of course everyone's going to post pictures, and it's just like a fantastic analogy that you put on there. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So I know like all the other businesses that you started, they all weren't as successful as Green Mango. What made those ones hard?
Yeah, I could go into specifics of each one. I think in general was starting 5 other service companies in a year and a half. Like just imagine people, the systems, the processes that are having to be put in place, the amount of money. Our pool business, we went from 0 to the second largest in Arizona. Like it was just crazy. Our alarms, it was insane. I think we did 2,000 accounts our first year, 1,500 or 2,000 accounts. And we were financing them all in-house, and the price tag on doing that. And then our carpet business, each van is $100,000, just so much money. And so, but looking back, if I knew what I know now, I would have done things a little bit differently. In the moment in 2018, I had a big investor pull out, and I had to make a decision. Hey, what am I doing here? Can I continue to fund the growth and the payroll of these companies? Do I need to basically fire sell them and focus on what I can? And that's ultimately the decision that I made, was fire the ones that I felt like took the most amount of time and money, and focus on the ones that didn't. And that's how I ended up with the 3 that I have now.
Gotcha. And what revenue did you take on an investor?
How much equity did I give them?
Not even that. I don't think that's pertinent, but like, what revenue point could you be like, hey, I think we need to bring on an investor to help with growth?
So when we started all the other companies, it was planned from the beginning.
Gotcha.
Hey, this is what the setup will be as far as investment, as far as equity goes, and this is our go-to-market strategy. So we knew before we started them.
But you said that you had a big investor pull out.
Yeah, so we had one investor for all the companies besides Green Mango, and when he pulled out of all the companies besides Green Mango, that's when we had to make the decision. Do we want to cover payroll and marketing expenses, or what do we want to do here? Gotcha.
So it's just getting too expensive just to like do it on your own. So you said, okay, we got to find the core services that we offer that make us the most money, we get the best ROI on, and we'll get rid of the rest. And you ran with those.
Basically, yeah. I mean, at the time in each company, we had a $40,000 a month marketing budget, because it was all about growth. Hey, let's run this thing for 5 years, pouring everything into it, then pull it back and see where we're at.
Yeah.
And when he pulled out, it was in growth mode. It definitely wasn't in a spot to sustain where it was at or what we were doing. And that's what made it so difficult. But that's the beautiful thing about service companies, right? Is that there's always a buyer.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we did. So we went out, shopped them out, and we were able to sell them all off within that year. I mean, it was stressful and painful going through it all, but we were able to get out of it.
Yeah. Which one's been your favorite so far? Obviously, besides the money, Green Mango, but which one's been the most fun to start? And
oh man, that's a tough question. They've all been unique on their own. The carpet cleaning business is kind of fun. I joke with my partner that I'm a third generation carpet cleaner because my grandpa literally, I think he's 90 something years old. If you went to Utah right now and drove up to Park City, you'd probably see him spraying protectant on a couch. Nice. And my uncles have a company. My mom cleaned carpet. And now here I am with a carpet cleaning business. I don't get on the truck, but nonetheless, I own the company. And so I always joke with him. And so that's been fun to see the carpet business take off. But I've definitely put the most time and, energy into Green Mango. Yeah. And that's been the baby.
And at what revenue point did things really start to take off with Green Mango?
Year 6 is when we first started taking money from Green Mango. I can't remember how much revenue we were doing. It was north of probably 5 or 6 million at the time. I don't remember that exactly.
Didn't you guys start lawn care like last year?
No, we don't do any lawn care.
I thought I remember seeing something like that. I saw something on Instagram, like you guys did some lawn care or thinking about doing lawn care or something.
A lot of people try and talk us into it, but I'm like, dude, I'm just focusing on what I have.
Yeah, that's smart. When
it comes to your social media, specifically Instagram, you're kind of like the face. All of the photos of the technician work and whatnot is all you. Is there a reason behind that?
He's pretty.
What's funny is at the beginning we couldn't afford a model, and I didn't know how to take any pictures. And my business partner, being the artsy crafty marketing guy, it was like, dude, that's all we had. So it was me from the beginning, and it stayed me from 13, 14 years later.
Yeah. What does like the next 10 years look like for you? Like if you got your $200 million exit, what would you do? Would you chill, or would you just dump the money into the next 2 businesses and do it again?
Oh man. I mean, I have 2 kids.
How old?
And I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. My 10-year-old's a boy. My 7-year-old's a little girl. So I got one of each. We're done.
Lucky.
And a lot of it, I'll never not work. Like I love coming into the office and working. Now there's a difference between working a 14-hour day and a 5-hour day. Sure. And when I exit, my hope would be that I can work maybe 3 or 4 hours a day. It seems at least right now, like that's the perfect amount of time for me to where I still feel fulfilled. I can still come in and have that interaction with everybody, and continue to spend more time with my family. Like I've sacrificed a lot of time away from my family to get to where I'm at right now, and to have as many companies as I do, sacrifice time and money, dumping it back in. And like my main focus right now is just having a balanced will, a balanced life, and making sure that my kids, get that attention. And I don't want to be that guy that, when the kids move out, like saying like, oh, I wish I didn't work as much and I didn't get to spend time with them or anything like that.
All right. So if you and I were in high school together, we're both sophomores or juniors, who's Cameron in high school? I know you said you played sports.
I played sports, but I was who's Cameron? I'm the quiet guy that you don't know if I'm going to, I love it. My life coach that I hired was my dad's friend. And I'll never forget, I called him in 2018 because I finally hired him. He's like, man, it's so good to hear your voice and that you're not in jail, because when you were a kid, I knew that you were either going to end up in prison or that you were going to become a millionaire. And I honestly didn't know which one. And so I'm happy that you're calling me for coaching and not for a bailout right now.
That's funny.
And I guess that's who I was. I was just a quiet kid that loved sports and loved anything outdoors. And I feel like I had a great group of friends in all different areas of life. And, so I feel like I was really well-rounded. I'm a very visual learner. And so I can see kind of the path that I want to go down and don't want to go down based off of, other people's choices. And having friends that made, decisions that, I didn't ultimately agree with, and some that made decisions that I wanted to, mirror myself was critical for me.
That's super awesome. And then you said that like after high school, you kind of maybe got lost a little bit, and then you found yourself in pest control. Like, what was that time in your life like there?
More so got lost because I literally had a roadmap, and I think a lot of kids do have a roadmap, at least until after high school or maybe for college. For me, everything was laid out up until I got home from my mission. Yeah. And when I got home from my mission, the plan was to be in real estate like my dad. But I got home in 2009, and I don't know if you remember, but the market for real estate in 2009 wasn't really a time to get in. It was a time to buy real estate, but it wasn't a time to get in and start selling it. And so when I got home, my dad was basically retired, and without saying it, pretty much said like, good luck, there's nothing here. And that's when I don't know, there's nothing more lonely for me than not knowing the next steps and what I'm going to do for this career. I knew I wanted to be rich. I knew I wanted to be successful and have the nice cars and helicopter and house and all these things. But I was like, okay, how? Like, what am I going to do? And I just remember laying on my mom's office floor, just like sitting there so frustrated because I couldn't think of anything that I wanted to be or do.
Crazy. So your mom, she had a cleaning business, like you said?
She did carpet cleaning. Like her dad was in the carpet business.
That's cool. And then your dad was a real estate guy?
Yeah, he did real estate.
So was he a sales guy, or did he own his own business? Like, do you come from a background of entrepreneurs? Have you always had that entrepreneur spirit?
I think I have I don't think anyone in my family works for anyone. They all own their own company, which is very unique. And my dad owned his own, real estate. They buy and sell raw dirt. So he doesn't get involved in the houses or anything like that. But that's why I got my helicopter's license, is because I saw my dad in high school growing up, taking these investors out in the helicopter, flying, which what's better than that? And then coming back and, showing the investors the land in the air, coming back, writing the contract, getting paid, what I thought was great money. Yeah. He had the big house and the motorhome and the toys and the planes and all that stuff. I was like, this is perfect. This is what I want to do. So in high school, when I wasn't in basketball, after high school, I'd go and take lessons to get my license, because when I got home from my mission, that was the plan. Come home, fly helicopters, sell land like my dad, and make good money. But it just didn't happen.
That's sick. Did you have any mentors besides your dad?
No, not really. Just my business partner, Dusty.
Had he been in business before?
No, he just worked for other people.
Really?
But he's just got that edge, that chip on his shoulder kid that just cocky enough to know, like, hey, it doesn't matter what, I'm going to be successful. One of the greatest lessons that he taught me is, if someone tells you no, like, figure out the way for them to tell you yes. So don't let anyone tell you no and, tell you it's not possible. You just need to figure it out. And if you figure it out, you'll be successful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great advice. Since we're on advice, what is one good piece of advice besides that your dad or a mentor or someone like Dusty has given you that really just changed your life?
Speaking to a business owner, or just like
anything? Yeah, anything. Yeah, or both.
It's been really fun. I'm the youngest of 5 people in my family, and so a lot of my nieces and nephews are getting to that age of 13 to 15 years old. So a couple of them actually come and do internships for me twice a week here. And the biggest thing that I've been preaching on a lot, and we've talked a little bit about it already, is that quote that says, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future."
Absolutely.
Who you surround yourself with is so powerful, no matter what stage you're at in your life. Even if you're a successful person making a ton of money, you start hanging out with less successful people, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when I say less successful, like people that don't have goals, or maybe that are doing things that they shouldn't on the weekends, or whatever that looks like for you and your moral compass, they will bring you down no matter who you are. But if you're hanging out with people that want to be better, whether that's physical, spiritual, whatever that looks like, if you hang around those people, you will become that person. It's contagious for good or bad. And And that'd be my advice. That's what I'm training my kid. That's what I'm training all my nieces and nephews.
I could not agree more. I say that all the time. Birds of a feather flock together, and you can just see it. Like even after you graduate, like the people who we thought were going to go do big things, that came around the wrong people, and they went down the wrong path. And it's the wildest thing ever. Like it's so true. Cameron, what do you like to do for fun? Like, and when you hang out with your kids, what do you guys just typically do on a weekend?
Yeah, so I love golf. I love anything outdoors. I'm heavy into the dunes. I love flying. Pretty much anything outside, man. My kids keep me very, very active. They're awesome.
They play sports?
But yeah, my little boy's in basketball and golf. My little girl does cheer.
Yeah, that's cool. My oldest daughter, she wrestles, and my other 2 daughters are in gymnastics and dance too. It's fun. They definitely keep you busy. And I always end the podcast with the same question. I know we're running out of time here. What are you most proud of up to this point?
I've been put in a lot of tough positions with, deciding how to run a business and how to operate it. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I made a huge change to improve our culture, which is more than just a mindset of, hey, I'm just going to treat people better. If you want to run a legitimate culture where people love to come to work, it's hiring the right people, it's paying the right salaries, doing the right events, having the company parties and all that. It takes a lot of money. So what I'm most proud of now, I don't know if you can hear it in the background or how great this mic drowns out the noise, but I'm one office over from our customer service rep bullpen, and all I can hear is people laughing. And that makes me smile because that hasn't always been the case. I have over 250 people that work for us now, and I can confidently say most of them, if not all of them, love coming to work every single day, and they know that I appreciate them. And that's been really hard to do, and I'm really proud of that.
That's awesome. Good job.
A couple of years ago, I spoke with somebody that works for you, and they said that you're very strict about the branding of the Nike clothing, and that if somebody showed up to work not in like Green Mango branding or Nike branding, that you would send them home. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
I don't love it. Oh, I mean, I'm not, there's some things I'm not proud of how I handled situations, but it goes back to like we were talking earlier about, the customer experience. If a guy wants to wear us with our uniform, like maybe 1 out of the 12 or 13 homes that they service that day are going to notice, but I don't care. It's how you feel. It's how you look. It's just how you do one thing is how you do everything. And we're very particular in that for sure.
Couldn't agree more. It's fantastic. What's your style of leadership?
I like to lead by example. That's been one of the hardest things for me though, as I've gotten, as we've gotten bigger, I'm very because I want the culture to be great. But if I go and start talking to, a technician that just started, and then I don't talk to him for 2 or 3 months, I don't want him to feel like I don't care about him. And so I've had to it's been this evolving game over time, not game, but like processes. Like how do I make sure people know that I care? But also when I do have my core 7 people that are underneath me, like how do I manage them? And so I would say the greatest thing that I do is just lead by example. And that's what I encourage my people to do as well.
Love that. Cool, man. Well, I know you're a busy guy, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to spend with us. You're an absolute stud. A lot of people admire what you're doing out there, so just keep up the good work.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, we'll have to keep in touch.
Okay, thank you.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya.